Assalamu alaikum. Here's Stani Army. I'm Imran Asghar, and today I've got with me, I've got Hamza Ahmed and Razwan Iqbal. This is our first podcast, so we might make some mistakes. Just let us know how it goes. We've got the group chat going as well, so if you've got any questions to ask, go on there or even tweet us at Stani Army or on my personal one, which is Pat Cricket underscore. Um, I've got Hamza and Rizwan as I said, but before I go to them, uh, Pakistan have actually named this squad today, and this is the squad. Safraz will captain. Then we've got Abid Ali, who's actually made an appearance in the squad. Congratulations to him. Babar Azam, Fahim Ashraf, Fakr Zaman, Haris Sohail, Hassan Ali, Imad Wasim, Imam ul Haq, Junaid Khan, Mohammad Hasnain, Shadab Khan, Shaheen Shah Afridi, Shoaib Malik, and Mohammad Hafiz, who is being picked pending that he can prove his fitness. For the England tour, also Mohammad Amir and Asif Ali have been picked. They will be going to the England tour and along with the 15 that are going to the World Cup. Now, we've got this frame of, I think it's May the 23rd, where squads can be changed as accordingly. That totally depends. So that probably gives Ahmed and Asif Ali a sort of background. Asif, for example, if Hafiz doesn't make it, and Ahmed, like if he gets any game time, if he can actually show what he can do, then that might actually, make an avenue. But for now, that's the 15 players picked. So what I'll do is first I'll go to Hamza and just ask him, was that the expected 15-man squad that he was sort of expecting today?
Yeah, assalamu alaikum everyone. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, it was pretty much what I expected. It was a predictable squad. Um, the only slight surprise was, I think, in my opinion, was them picking Abid Ali. Um, Despite his terrible form, which we can discuss later, we all knew Shoaib Malik was going to get picked. It was sort of in the grapevine that Mohamed Amir might be dropped because his ODI form has been particularly bad since the Champions Trophy. So for me, the main slight surprise is that they picked Abid Ali and dropped Mohamed Rizwan, who I thought they'd actually pick Rizwan because he's clearly one of the best batsmen in domestic cricket over the last couple of years. He's got a very good record, and he did really well on the Aussie tour. And actually, I think he's a better keeper than Sarfraz, personally. So I thought he would go, but they didn't pick him. So they're the two main surprises for me, and to an extent, them picking Junaid Khan over Usman Khan Shinwari, that was a bit of a surprise as well. So they're the main surprises for me. The rest of it was predictable, but Abid Ali, Junaid, and being picked, and Shinwari and Rizwan not being selected were the sort of slight surprises.
Yeah, that's pretty understandable. Before I discuss, because you've made some interesting points, um, go to Rizwan and Rizwan. Is that the squad that you expected, or not? Not really.
Well, yeah, assalamu alaikum, guys. How's everyone doing? To be quite honest with you, it was a surprise Abid Ali getting picked. That just came as a surprise, to be honest. And I didn't expect Junaid to be picked. I was thinking maybe they might pick Usman, but it is what it is. And the biggest talking point for me, yeah, Umar. Well, we know he has not been performing since the Champions Trophy. You can always see the stats in front of you. So it has come as a surprise, but maybe some people expected it. And Umar himself tweeted just after the announcement, he's grateful. He was picked for the ODI series against England, the T20, the 5 ODIs. So he's grateful to be picked for that. But general consensus is he understands as to why he wasn't picked for the World Cup squad. as you know, just mentioned, it's 23rd of May is a deadline if they want to change anything with the World Cup squad. So just who knows? He might even make that World Cup squad.
Serious one.
But
This is here that with Ahmed, yeah, we know the performance haven't been there, but we know what sort of bowler he is. Yeah, if he turns up, he can win you games by himself, and I'm a massive fan. But yeah, we know he hasn't performed, and he's since the Champions Trophy in 14 games, he's got 5 wickets at 93, which is a bowl. A bowl of any standard that is poor. A bowl of Ahmed that is like it's unbelievable. You couldn't imagine that. But him giving, I think it comes to a point, yeah, where like you have to think that do you deserve a place in the team? But I mean, him being named in the 17 is a don't you think that's a thing from the management to say, go on, you show us you're good enough in these games against England, whatever chance you're going to get, maybe 1 or 2 games, or maybe 3 games, I don't know, total 1 T20 and 5 ODIs, you might make the World Cup squad. So don't you think that's a reprieve for him, and this is basically a career saving chance?
absolutely, like you said, he is a match winner on his day. Proved so against India in the Champions Trophy final. I just totally ever since Champions Trophy, we don't understand what's happened. The wickets have dried up. His economy rate is not too bad, and let's be honest. Most of these matches have been played on United Arab Emirates pitches. We all know they're flat pitches. They're good for batting, but let's see. I mean, if he does perform, yeah, I mean, PCB surely they must bring him into the World Cup squad. But my point would be, who do they actually take out? It has to be a bowler. So who will it be? Will it be Junaid or Hasnain? No. Obviously, Hasnain is obviously relatively new.
If, if they made that choice, and that would be the case. Hamza, what do you think of Ahmed and his exclusion?
Yeah, well, he's in the 17, so it's basically I think it's a shootout between him and Junaid. Whoever does well in the ODI series, and is it how many T20s are they playing? Is it 3
One
T20s?
T20,
1 T20 and how many ODIs?
5 ODIs.
Okay, so you have plenty of ODIs. So what the PCB should do is if Junaid and Amir are fit, both of them should play at least 3 of the 5 ODIs, and whoever's doing best, just pick them. Should really be as simple as that. I personally would take him if it's between Amir and Junaid, and I like Junaid. It's just he just hasn't played in quite as much cricket as I think he needs to of late. So I personally would go over Amir over Junaid. But yeah, he's got a lifeline because they've obviously given him this 17 man squad to give him a chance in England to prove himself, which is fair enough. I think that's the right thing to do. Sometimes you go on, they say form is temporary, class is permanent. That's clearly what's going on here. If you actually look at Amir's Test and 2020 record over the last 2 years, it's actually pretty good. It's just there's something in ODIs. He's just not getting any wickets.
I mean, his economy rate's really good, but it's just not getting wickets.
Whether so that
lack of confidence of picking up wickets and he's just trying to bowl defensively because of the way the pitches are nowadays, I don't know. It's bad. It is baffling.
Yeah, and the thing is, Amir's a strike bowler, so if he's going at an average of 90, that puts a huge amount of pressure on people like Imad and Shadab and the first change bowler as well, because you want the new ball bowlers taking wickets, and if Amir plays, he has to have the new ball. So if he's not getting wickets, he's basically a new ball bowler. He's not getting any wickets. He's just seeing off the shine. So what's going on? So yeah, I like that he's in the 17. I personally, I don't know if we're going to discuss. We might discuss what 15-man squads will take to the World Cup. I've got my sort of 15 written down here, and we can discuss.
You could do that.
Yeah, if it's between Amir and Junaid, I'd always go with Amir.
I mean, there's one more just before we can go into stuff like that. One more quick thing. I mean, you mentioned Rizwan. I know about exclusions. Yeah, Rizwan's been been dropped. To me, that makes the Australia series even a bigger farce than it really is, because um, what was the point of this Australia series if you're not taking the guys who are performing in it?
Yeah,
I mean,
you had Shoaib Malik saying, "Well, I don't care if we win or lose. We're just testing our bench strength." You know,
I don't,
you've got a guy who gets 200s and you don't pick him. So
I
what was
don't,
the point then?
I don't agree with that. But you know, it makes a farce of the whole system what they did there. The thing I'm actually thinking of here is, um, if we're gonna do this, yeah, and now we've dropped him. I mean, we've had this argument many times, yeah, over the last few weeks about me not rating Rizwan, and you were saying Rizwan's brilliant. Now here's me saying Rizwan should have been there ahead of Abid Ali. Abid Ali's been picked, and as I said, congratulations to him. It's like a dream come true. He's been picked literally on one innings.
Yeah,
One innings, yeah.
I think that has to be, you know, you sort of sit there and imagine if you'd love to be a fly on a wall on one of these meetings, and you just think, okay, what is the criteria for dropping Rizwan, and what is the criteria for picking Malik, who's got atrocious numbers over the last couple of years, and what is the criteria for
averages
picking
under
Abid?
40
Yeah,
in England.
yeah, yeah, and we'll talk about that in a sec. So, and what's the criteria for picking Abid based on 100? Now, obviously, to some people, they're just going to say, look, Abid's a top order batsman, and Rizwan's a middle order batsman. And the PCB, I think, if we've got enough middle orders, Malik and Hafiz, Harris, and Safraz, we don't need another one. We need a spare opener. I don't think you really need one because you realistically, if Fakhr Zaman doesn't do it, and Imad Wasim doesn't, Imam ul Haq doesn't do it, I don't think suddenly Abid Ali. I mean, I've only seen that one innings of his, by the way, and he looked good. But I remember saying, I don't know if I said it to you or someone else, he looks a little airy fairy outside of his off stump for me.
Mentioned that, yes, you did.
Yeah, and he's a bit sort of loose the way he drives. It's nice to watch, but you can imagine like a Stain or a Cummins just ripping him apart outside the off stump.
Also, if they needed, say, an opener got injured, Muhammad Hafiz is in the squad. I mean, emergency, you can use that. So
it's just it makes no sense them picking Abid Ali. It's literally based on one innings, and it wasn't even like it's not like he did in Afridi. He came in, got 137 balls.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was against a second. It was against a second string Australia attack.
How is his stats like in domestic cricket, Abid Ali's?
Yeah, so his list day average is 39, and his first class average is 38. So it's decent. I'm not saying he's rubbish, but if you just base it on what we saw of his technique, he looks a bit loose outside off stump. A good right-handed bowler who's moving it away will cause him all sorts of. He's going to nick off. In England, he will nick off.
Well, if conditions are right, if they're dry, the ball will swing. Cloudy conditions, the ball will swing.
I mean, he probably won't start the games anyhow. Riz, I'm just looking at some of the stats here. Yeah, Fakhr Zaman's only played 4 games in England, which, I mean, you can, when I say only, that's since he's made his debut. He's got 252 runs at 63, which is excellent, right? Safraz, 576 runs in England at the average of 63 as well. So again, excellent. Imad Wasim, and take a load of this one. He's played 7 games, batted for 7 innings, 182 runs and an average of 91. In 7 innings, only been out twice.
Yeah, he's a good finisher.
Yes, he's been finishing it.
Really
Babar has struggled in England, but he's our best bat. 255 runs at 32. So, I mean, you're thinking. And Shoaib Malik, 23 innings, exactly 300 runs at under 14.
Well, I mean, that just says it all. I mean, you're taking a very experienced player, supposedly, he's been in the circuit for a very long time, and to have an average like that, it's just mind-boggling. I mean, I just fail to understand how can an established player who's been playing for so long, can have an average like that.
I mean, his overall average is what, about 33, 34.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly, yeah, but it's not much. It's not no more than 35, which is, if you've been playing international cricket for what, 20 years, that's not exactly great.
Yeah, you look almost
But
300 ODIs and he averages about 33, 34.
so if we Umar is a bowler and Malik is a batsman, but on the basis of form, if obviously Umar's form is not up to scratch, then we could say the same thing about Malik as well. It's not up to scratch, so
The
Listen,
difference is,
you know,
Amir is a match winner, innit? We know Amir is a match winner. Joe
I
Malik is
would
not a match
absolutely,
winner.
yeah. We agree, yeah.
I mean, okay,
But then because on social media, I had a lot of people, mentioning about Ahmed, being in team, not being in team, but it's not much fuss about Malik. It's hardly nothing about Malik at all. It's like if it's an automatic choice for some reason.
I think we need to get Mulder and Scully on this because this is one of the unsolved mysteries about why for 20 years has Shoaib Malik been in the team. It's just, I don't get it. Like, even if you look at, so we looked at his averages in England. You said he averages just over 13 or something like that in England, right?
yeah.
So I looked at his averages over the last 2 years. So just in all countries in 2 years. So for that's 20. So let's have a look. So he averaged in the last 2 years is 27 matches. This is Shoaib Malik, a high score of 81 and an average of 30 with 1 wicket taken. So we've got a guy who's going to be basically our number 5, averaging 30 with a high score of 81 in 27 matches in 2 years. What's going on with that? I mean, it's a total mystery to me.
Shoaib Malik, if he was averaging 30 odd back in the days when he was bowling, you could say, you know what, he's doing a job for the team.
Yeah,
But
a bit of this, bit of that.
he stopped bowling, and yeah, a bit part cricketer, more or less. That's not working. Either way, we're going to move on from Shoaib Malik. We'll be here forever. After we worked out 3 of us are not these the biggest fans on him. You know what?
I suppose the only plus side point we can probably say is there's a good fielder. He's a very good fielder. We know that, but
maybe he'll catch our way to the World Cup.
Hamza, what would your 11 be? And that now excludes Ahmed. You can't exactly include him, yeah, on the first game against West Indies.
Yeah, so I would have gone with Zaman and Imam to open, Barber 3, Harris 4. I mean, I can't wait to watch those two bat. That's the next Yunus and Yusuf in my eyes. I said that way back in just a little digression, but when Australia toured us in 2014, in one of the warm-up matches, Barber and Harris put on a double century stand. I don't know if people remember that. And I said straight away, these two guys are going to be the next big things in cricket. And Barber was given a chance, and Harris unfortunately wasn't until recently. And the guy is like 30, and he's been around since 2014. So we've basically wasted about 4 or 5 years of Harris's career, unfortunately. So yeah, I would go Barber 3, Harris 4. I would have picked Hussein Talat at 5, Sarfraz 6, Imam 7, Shadab 8, Hassan Ali 9, Shaheen Afridi 10, and Usman Shinwari 11. I would have gone with that 11. And on the bench, I would have had Amir Hasnain as the 2 spare bowlers, and the spare batsman would have been Hafiz and Rizwan, because Hafiz can be a number 6 slogger, and he could be an opener as well.
Yeah, hello Riz, we can see your fingers. Riz, what's your 11 for the first game against the West Indies? I'm not talking about the England series. Let's move on from the England series. I know it's a bit going ahead of ourselves because a lot could happen until then. But let us know.
Well, I mean, you'll see the squad we have now, picking from that squad, the 15 players, I'll go with Fakir opening, Imam, Babar, Harris, Sarfraz, put him up the order. That's where you want to play up the order, put him up the order. Personally, I know, I mean, I wouldn't have Malik in the side for that game, but Malik's going to be there. So, I mean, if you're asking me the question, if Malik's going to be my side, I won't put
I
Malik
see
in
what
there.
you're
But
saying. I see exactly what you're saying. See, what I would do personally is probably very similar to what Hamza will do, and this is what we need to do: Fakir, Imam at 1 and 2, Barber at 3, Haris Sohail at 4, and you need them 4 to score the bulk of the runs. Um, then Safraz has got to be the number 5, yeah. Safi at number 5, right? Guaranteed for me. Number 6, Hafiz. We need a finisher, and I think Hafiz as a finisher is better than being up the order, and obviously the bowling that he gives you. Then obviously Imad and Shadab, and then you got your 3 seamers, which Hassan and what do you call it? Shaheen will play, and then whoever the third one is. So at the moment, that's Junaid for me. Let's see what happens. The other way of doing this is
that's
that you.
it. I mean, that would have been my team anyway. Yeah, that's my team.
The other way
But
of
going
doing
back
this.
to, I was just thinking about Malik. How we gonna fit him? Because I know, in fact, well, we know he's gonna be selecting his
See, the other
most
other
likely
way of
playing
doing
against the
this could have
Kiwis.
been if
But
they picked up Asif Ali instead of Abid, then they could have actually played Asif Ali um, as a number 7. But then you're relying on and that probably would have been in place of one of the spinners, which was Harsh Nimad and Shadab, but in place of one of the spinners, and that would have meant you're relying on Hafiz and Haris Sohail to bowl 10 overs. But I mean, we've seen their quality of their bowling. As a fifth bowler, I think they could do a decent enough job. But that's out of the equation now. Um, Moving on.
going back to Hafiz, we know he was pulled up about his action, and he was reported, and also he's he had to undergo the test. He passed it. He he hasn't really been bowling a lot. I mean, maybe because of that, and just in case he gets pulled up again. But this is a World Cup. I don't think he'd probably be bowling in the ODI series. World
I've got
Cup,
I've got a question,
different matter.
Hamza, and the question's from Akib Mansoor. Hi, Akib. Um, he said, "What's your thoughts on Hafiz batting at 6, which we just discussed, and Safraz at 4?" Safraz at 4. Before we even go into that, I think Haris is our number 4. Yeah, I think we all agree on that. But what about uh, so that will make Safraz number 5, and what about Hafiz as a 6?
Yeah, so it's interesting how sort of Malik and Mohammed Hafiz's careers have pretty much gone along the same path. They started off as sort of bowlers basically, and then that could bat a bit, and then they improved their batting a bit, and the sort of bowling died away. Whereas Hafiz sort of held on to his bowling a little bit, but he's had it banned now. So whereas Malik, he can't warrant a place just as a batsman, whereas Hafiz, as a lower order batsman, he can just about still squeeze into that team. So you can still make a case for Hafiz batting at 6 because he's got a good long handle. He can hit them, especially spinners. He can hit them out of the park. In the last 10 overs, you can see Hafiz. It surprises me sometimes how much of a big hitter he can be. So that's the problem with Malik. He doesn't have any extra gears, number one. So you can't bat him at 6 to be like coming in the last 10, 15 overs. You can't bat him at the top of the order because his technique isn't tight to bat at 3 or open, so he's not flexible. And you can't bat him at 4 or 5 because he doesn't have a history of scoring big runs. So whereas Hafiz, he can fit in. Like if you really need to have him open, you can open with him. If you really need to, but I would have him as 6. Yes, I wouldn't mind. I'm a big fan of Hussein Talat. I like his technique. He's got a lovely flow. I'm a big technical fan. As soon as I see a nice technique, I'm like, yeah, even if you're not getting runs, I'll be willing to be patient with you. And I think they've been very harsh on Hussein Talat, dropping him because he had a good tour of South Africa.
Okay.
But yeah, if it's not Hussein, I'm happy with Hafiz.
Just moving on, I've just got a question. This is from Nav, but not that Nav. There's another Nav, and he's asking, "What are your thoughts of Shoaib Malik?" I think we'll leave that one right there. Yeah,
Yeah, we've done that.
Yeah. There's another one from Zain, and Zain asks us, "Who will make the place for Ahmed if he performs well? And does Ahmed's batting average in England close to?" No, I think he's worded it a little bit wrong here. But what he means is, Ahmed's batting average, yeah, it's actually better than Malik's as a as a batsman. So does that in England we're talking about? So should Ahmed just be picked as a batsman?
I mean, that just says it all. Just
Listen,
says it all.
I think me and you could, all three of us could have better batting averages than Shoaib Malik in England.
Um,
But yeah, I'd imagine if they pick Amir, it'd be like for like. As you said earlier, it'd be a shootout between Junaid and Amir.
yeah, pretty much.
The England series, yeah.
I'm just
I mean,
just
it
just
could. I
looking at.
mean, you're
Yeah,
saying it could be shootout between Amr and Junaid. I'm more thinking along those lines of her name. You know, it could be either. We don't know. I mean, let's see what happens.
no, once
Obviously,
Junaid's in now,
if he gets selected for the ODI series, if he doesn't perform, if he goes and leaks runs or he doesn't take any wickets, and Amr obviously does, we could see Amr getting shifted into the World Cup squad.
I
Personally, I think that would be very harsh. I mean,
expect him to.
I think it's going to be very difficult for Amr to get in there because the chosen the 15-man squad. It's going to be harsh for them to put Ahmed in and take someone else.
I think he will make the World Cup squad personally. I think this is just a wake up call for him, and it's probably to lay off the people who already wanted him to be out. So they said, "Oh, you know what? Give him a second chance," sort of thing, and they'll make that change. Hasnain is probably the one that's going to come out unless Hasnain bowls superbly in one of the games and Junaid bowls really poor in the England series. I think Junaid will stay and Ahmed will come in. But I mean I think we've talked enough about Ahmed as well here. Shinwari, 15 games, 28 wickets at 19. I know there's a lot of people who say he goes for a lot of runs, but that's what wicket takers do. They go for the runs. And there'll be other people who say, you know what, the bulk of his wickets have come against Zimbabwe. You still got to take him. I mean, Ahmed played in them games as well. So, we're still discussing this here. Shinwari, how did he not make the squad?
I don't know.
To be honest,
take this one, Riz. You go first.
I think the series against Australia, you should have seen Mickey Arthur's face when Shinwari took that wicket, bowled him. Obviously, it wasn't a wicket because he overstepped. Should have seen his face. And that told the story. Guys, it's kind of a strange one because you mentioned he takes wickets, but then again he leaks runs. Maybe on his day, he might take 4 or 5 wickets. You never know. But then on his not off day, he can leak a lot of runs. Similar to, let's say, Wahab. Similar to Wahab.
Yeah, I understand that, but then that's what wicket takers do sometimes. I think Wahab's been tried and trusted. I mean, it's like Shinwari's been around for what, 2 years, 2.5 years, and Wahab's been around for what, since 2010. There is that thing. Do you learn? Wahab hasn't learned from his mistakes. Bit cruel, but that's the way it is. Shinwari, it's early doors. Hamza, I mean, I know you already said that at the start that you would have picked him, but I mean, does that make any sense?
Yeah, so they've basically picked, I think, Ashraf over Fahim Ashraf. Now, it's a bit of a controversial one because I don't hear too many other Pakistani fans criticizing him because I like him as well, Fahim Ashraf, but is he really good enough to be in the team just as a bowler? Because I think his bowling is okay. It's decent. He does well. But he doesn't strike me as someone who's going to get loads of breakthroughs. He'll bowl tightly. He won't really let you down, but he's not going to rip out the heart of the opposition or anything like that. He's not going to scare anyone. But they play him like he's an all-rounder. But we were discussing off air, sort of, I think it was...
Yeah, I took a couple of screenshots, and his list day batting average is 16.67. He's got 250s in 47 games. So it's not exactly breaking...
It's not all-rounder material.
No, and then he's first class, which is a little bit better, but again, this is not first class cricket. It's 29.56 in 58 innings. He's got 200s in that, but it's not exactly what you call. He won't get into his team as a batsman.
Yeah.
He won't get into a bowler. I know a true all rounder needs to get into the team in one way. I see exactly what you're saying. We're actually just completely out of context. I know it's nothing to do with the World Cup here. Shadab, we're actually in danger of making Shadab that as well because they're trying to make him into a batsman, yeah, and we're in a serious danger that he might lose his ability of his bowling because he might start thinking too much about his batting. Let the boy live. Let him become a bowler. Let him develop the batting as it comes along. That's a completely different thing, but that's personal opinion on him.
Yeah, that's a weird one. You've got a guy there. Sometimes what surprises me about people who do that, you look at someone, if they're a bit good at one thing, good at another, you should look at that and think, which one are you more likely to become world class in? Is Shadab ever going to be a world class batsman? No. Is he ever going to be a world class spinner? Maybe. So let him focus on his spinning. So I had a debate with a guy on Twitter a few days ago who was saying that we should bat Shadab at 6. And I just thought, what are you on about? And it just made no sense. But yeah, I don't think there's too many in the PCB that actually think that Shadab should be batting at 6.
Guys, some messages saying that we're ignoring the people commenting on the chat, but nothing's actually coming up on my chat here. So I'm gonna just, as you lot just carry on, I'm just gonna play around with my phone and try to see if I can find anything else.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on Fahim Ashraf anyway, Rizwan? Because I think he goes a bit under the radar.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, guy is a medium pacer. He just doesn't have the express pace. They may have taken him because of that, but I don't think they've probably taken him because of his batting
But
abilities.
guys, I'm just gonna quickly go through these messages, yeah. Because there's loads and we've missed them all, yeah.
Well done, Mr. Moderator.
Come up
First one, Imad saying Malik Jan, Neat Chandani, Imi Bhai, yeah. He doesn't like him as well. Excluding the Zimbabwe tri-series, Fucker has done nothing since the Champions Trophy from the HA.
That's not true.
What is Hafiz's average in England, Umar? Hafiz's average in England is right in front of me. 28. Malik averages 10 runs better than Safraz over the last 2 years. Hanzala Yad Baskar. I know exactly who that is. To be honest, our team only has 2 match winners, Fakir and Amir. Only these 2 players could turn the game on the head. Well, you know what? One's not in the squad. Funny how everyone realizes now has shown Malik is rubbish and is about to retire. Malik would hope the case of famous collapse. Imi Bai works for BJP. Okay. Pretty random. Okay, I'm just gonna. I think there's thoughts on Hafiz batting at 6. We've already discussed that. Highest the strike rate is worrying. Hamza, you go on to that one until I read.
That's a pile of nonsense. I've heard a few sort of let's just say Imran Asghar fans talking about Harris's strike rates. I mean, for God's sakes, the guy's a legend. He's going to become a legend. Okay, there's absolutely 3 and 4. As long as you're going around a runner ball, that's all you need in ODI cricket, a runner ball. Everyone else around you can do the smash and get out of the ground. But Barber and Harris at 3 and 4, they just need to go around a runner ball. That's all we need.
The other question I've just been asked just now is from Akil, and he's a very, very nice boy. Will you play Malik or Hafiz if you have to choose one of them to adjust Harris in the 11? Harris is also a decent spin option. I think we're pretty unanimous that Harris has to play.
Oh, that's 100%. Yeah, and Harris should not be used as a bowler. I don't think that should be done. That would be very dangerous. We've got a nice format, which is Shadab and Imad being 4 and 5 bowlers, and just 3 seamers. I like that. It's just you're just asking the specialists to do their job. You're asking the batsmen to make the runs and the bowlers to make take the bowlers to take the wickets and the all rounders to chip in a bit. Two all-rounders, Imad and Shadab, just let them get on with it.
There's one here by Yamin Butt, a very passionate Pakistan cricket fan here from England, not too far from where we are. Well, not from you, Hamza, because you're an outsider now. But he said less concerned with the bowling, more with the bat. 300 is par in England, which is very true. I think Asif Ali is a must. What's your thoughts?
You go first, Riz.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. We needed a pinch hitter, and we know what Asif Ali can do. But the problem is, and Mickey Arthur mentioned it as well, that he can't prolong the innings. So a couple of sixes, and then he gets out. I mean, that's the only issue. If he some shots he plays, he shouldn't be playing his shots, and that's the way he gets out. But I mean, he is a pinch hitter at the end of the day, so sometimes I suppose you have to take the gamble, and maybe he should have been picked. It could have worked. It could have worked in place of maybe Abid Ali.
Fair
It could
enough.
have worked, but
Hamza, here's one for you. Yamin, would he have been a better option, or at least should have been in consideration ahead of Fahim if you were going to take a pace bowling all rounder?
Mm,
Or is it
yeah.
the same thing?
The thing is, I probably would have. But the thing is, we don't need either of them. That's the thing. Like Fahim Ashraf or Amr Yameen, and I prefer Amr Yameen actually because his batting's better and his bowling is decent. Although Ashraf's a better bowler, but Yameen's a better batsman. But personally, I would not take either of them because we don't need them because we've got Shadab and Imad doing the all rounders job. So I like Amr Yameen. I don't know if he's any better than Ashraf though. It's a tricky. It depends what you value more. If you want the batsman, you'd go with Yameen. If you want the bowler, you'd go with Ashraf. But I
Talking
wouldn't
about
take
Ashraf, talking about Ashraf, I've got Umar Ashraf here, and he's saying World Cup pitches normally are looked over by the ICC, which is actually a very good point. So plenty of the games will be played on the used pitches, which worked to our advantage in the Champions Trophy. So what he's trying to say is they probably get dry with heat. I mean, it's actually got quite warm outside today, so a bit of heat. Obviously, used pitches, and they might become dry, and the reverse might start coming in.
that's a very very good point. That is, I mean, Marco Warren mentioned that on Twitter as well. See, if the conditions are dry, the spinners will come into play. In that sense, we don't really have a genuine spinner like we had Saeed Ajmal or Sakli Mushtaq or Mushtaq Ahmed. We had those in our ranks, but also we don't now.
got Shadab.
Shadib, yeah, Shadib is obviously a spinner, but you can't put him into a category, as in Sakli Mushtaq or.
I don't know, man. He's right up there.
He's up there. No, I rate him.
He's a mystery bowler.
Don't get me wrong. I rate him. Yeah, he's a good spinner, but he's not. What was I going to say?
Okay, let's just move on.
Move on.
You know what? It's getting really late, yeah, and especially in Pakistan, it's like past 1 o'clock here. So these Pakistanis tend to sleep quite early, anyhow.
No, they don't. They're bloody up till 2 o'clock in the morning in Karachi.
Exactly that. And you know what they were saying to me on Twitter earlier? Hurry up, yeah. We need to sleep. Not really. I know exactly what they do.
Them people are awake till 2 in the morning.
Iman's asking me something though. Who's the strongest squad on paper? And your favourites? Obviously Pakistan. Come on.
Even with Shoaib Malik, yeah, of course I support Pakistan, 100%. But if I had to go with someone else, I think Australia.
You know what, Hamza? Riz, this is an interesting one for you. Last couple of days here, I've had loads of tweets here saying to me, how's the England squad? Yeah, you're British anyhow, so you should be supporting England. But Riz, can you just once and for all, just clarify why do British Pakistanis support Pakistan and not England?
Absolutely no way. I mean, I mentioned this to someone else as well, but we live here, we're born and bred here, but our real heart is in Pakistan. That's our real home. I think that is.
This is what I was gonna hear. But I mean, I don't get this point here where people try to say that you should be supporting England because you're born in England.
You know what? The funny thing is, people only make a big fuss about this with Desis. I used to work with a Greek guy, and he supported Greece every time. He's like, I don't support England when they play Greece in football. So I think we need to not be so harsh on ourselves. A lot of the Keezers here who are Irish, they support Ireland. A lot of the people who have like sort of German or whatever ancestry, we're not the only ones that do this.
Yeah, but you know what? Everyone does it. I mean, look at the football World Cup here. I mean, people all support their own countries, and like in England, when you go past people's houses, you see the Portugal flag up, and you see the Brazilian flag up, and you see
Exactly.
all sorts of stuff. It's just the way it is. I mean, I haven't put my Pakistan flag up on my window for quite a few years now. I think I've grown out of that. I used to do it, and not once did anyone ever say to me, "But you're British." I'm actually proud to be British. I mean, I'm born and bred here, and
Yeah, you're so proud you voted Brexit, didn't you?
I did not vote. That was
Guys,
please.
just obviously before
But yeah,
I know you can,
no, we're not here to discuss politics now. Yeah,
I know it. I know I know it's
no,
getting
we're
late
gonna
now,
finish this off now.
but
Yeah.
just like obviously you mentioned to our viewers, I'm not sure if they're aware, but Tuesday the resale for the ICC Cricket World Cup tickets will be going up on their website on Tuesday.
So everyone,
So
put your tickets back on there, but let us know so we
put
can
your tickets back on there,
so we
and
can up.
so we can log on. We can.
So
Well,
yeah,
we have most of our tickets anyway, so I mean, it's just maybe might be a couple matches if we need, if that.
just the last couple of things here, just to clarify. Uh, we've got um we've got a major event coming up really soon. I'm not gonna say anything yet, but the Stani Army is about to go to another level. So inshallah, that's gonna be really, really soon. We've got a couple of events, in fact, coming up. I mean, one is virtually sorted out. One I'm in discussion with at the moment. Let's see what happens. And you know what? We need to move on. But you know what? Just before we finish this, Hamza, I'm going to bring to you, this is a quite interesting, because nothing to do with the World Cup squad, but over the last couple of days, or since yesterday, there's been shenanigans going on with the PCB, where they had a meeting in Quetta to discuss Quetta cricket and cricket in Balochistan, and all of a sudden the board of governors come, they put a slip on the table, and they're all vetoing, and they're saying it's null and void for Wasim Khan. Um, your opinions on Wasim Khan?
I think it was one of the most positive appointments that have been made by the PCB for probably millennia. This is a guy who could have stayed in England and got a similar job in England. I like that this walkout happened partially. It means he's actually trying to ruffle a few feathers, get rid of some dead wood. So I'm not surprised that this is happening. It's probably a good sign in the sort of short term that he's actually trying to make a few moves. I think what's important next is what Imran Khan does, because he's the patron of Pakistan cricket. So if he puts his foot down and basically says to everyone, "You need to do what Wasim says," that's what will matter. So we need a bit more information about what exactly happened. What did people walk out for? But from what I've read, from what a few people in Pakistan on Twitter have said, it's some sort of these people who have just drawn a salary for sort of 25, 30 years and done absolutely nothing. And sort of Wasim's come in and been like, pointing fingers at people. And they've basically thrown their toys out the pram. So, watch this space.
You know what? This is the last thing I'm going to say anyhow before we sign off. I quite a few years ago, I got the opportunity to actually interview him. It's an old website that we used to run, and I got an opportunity to interview him. Me and Tabriz actually done that at the time. And I remember halfway through, this is a phone interview. It wasn't face to face because he was in Leicester or Birmingham at the time. I can't remember exactly. And I was talking to him about cricket and the structures of it. About 10 minutes into the discussion, I felt like this low. Like I don't know nothing about cricket, because he knows everything about cricket, how it works, what the structures are. He's so good at his job. I felt like, you know what? I don't know nothing. I don't know what to even ask you. I was absolutely gobsmacked. So I'm praying that it works out for him, because you know what? The PCB needs a change, and he's the sort of change that we need. And obviously, he's British as well. So come on, Britain!
Brexit.
Yeah. So that's that.
Brexit means Brexit.
Thank you for everyone watching. Thank you to Hamza and Rizwan for joining me as well.
Guys, just to mention, we're going to be at the first game against West Indies. I think that's on the 31st of May.
Yeah, Cardiff as well for the T20. Remember
Yeah,
that.
Cardiff is off
And
for
we'll be doing
T20.
live videos as well. We do live videos and we'll be doing recorded videos as well, which will come on the channel afterwards. We need people to subscribe and Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, find us on Stani Army and follow us.
Okay, guys.